After 5 years of waiting, I finally quit Sydney. Not in defeat, but because staying, that would have been the real failure. I didn't know exactly what I was walking into, but what I did know was exactly what I was walking away from. "5 years ago, I booked myself into rehab. The alcohol went, but the introspection stuck around, rent-free. That moment started a different kind of audit. I stopped asking, how can I get ahead? And started wondering, why the hell am I even in this race? Burnout crept in slowly. Weekends blurred into Mondays. I didn't realise it, but Sydney was quietly taking more than it gave. I was tired of surviving, of being fine, of treating small wins like lifelines. And then the cost of living exploded. Rents in Sydney jumped up to $950 a week in just a few years. And that's $10,000 more a year for less space, less peace, and more pressure. Townsville? My rent is half of that, with a sea breeze. You do the math. You know, people always talk about being priced out of Sydney. And I guess there's an element of truth to that. But for me, it was about the cost, the invisible cost. I spent years climbing ladders I didn't even want to be on. Titles, KPIs, Monday morning meetings with slogans that nobody, including myself, believed in. And one day, I just stopped. I thought, it's time to go. Packed some boxes and loaded up the car. Do you know what I reckon? If your job has to continually remind you that it cares about your wellness, then I'm thinking that perhaps it doesn't. Food for thought. Funny thing is, the decision wasn't sudden. It was 5 years in the making. The day I booked myself into rehab, I started looking at life differently. What was I really doing all this for? How are you feeling, George?
It's stress.
Stressed? Because of the cats? So sobriety didn't just change my habits. It had also changed what I found acceptable now. And mediocrity, dressed as ambition, well, that just wasn't cutting the mustard anymore. I'd be lying if I said it was easy. I was scared. The night before we left, I had huge anxiety. This wasn't just a postcode change. It was me letting go of an identity. But growth only happens when comfort stops. If you want something different, really different, you have to do something different. You can't just visualise your way out of a burnout. In other words, if nothing changes, nothing changes. You have to physically get out of the fire and start breathing somewhere altogether new. So if you're feeling stuck, do just one thing in the next 24 hours to create motion. It doesn't matter how small. Action creates clarity. And all it takes is that first step. Let's jump into Deano Digs Deep and talk about the costs. Not emotionally, not metaphorically. Literally, what it took to pull this move off. Removalist, $6,900. Petrol, $480. Accommodation for the 3 nights, $700. Food, around the $400 mark. To secure a property here in Townsville, $2,000. So when you add all that up, it comes to a grand total of $10,480. But that's just the invoice. The real cost is time. Stepping out of the workforce, pressing pause on income, swapping stability for uncertainty. So this isn't a run away and be happy story. It's a stop lying to yourself and do the damn thing story. Sydney gave me a lot. Structure, status, chances, and expectations, most of which I never consented to. And somewhere along the line, I stopped checking in with myself. It was always, just keep going, keep proving, keep pretending. But pretending takes energy, and eventually, it takes identity. You see, I didn't move because everything collapsed. I moved because I wanted to quit before everything did. I used to think that leaving would mean failure, but now I realise that staying would have been the real loss. When you're still for just a moment, you start to notice the noise you've gotten used to, the self-talk, the mental gymnastics, the coping mechanisms you've called normal. Townsville wasn't my backup plan. It was the first honest plan I'd had in years. And it gave me what no salary ever did. The chance to start again without asking permission. These days, I'm not trying to become anything. I'm just trying to be someone I recognise. And this here is going to be our new home. George and I didn't have much planned for our first days in Townsville. Mainly catching up with some family and just settling into our new home. Our first morning, I opened the blinds. There was no skyline, no sirens, just light. That felt rare. Within days, I stopped refreshing LinkedIn. I started noticing my environment, the birds, the sound of the water. I sat long enough to make coffee slowly. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. Connection wasn't about people at first. It was about reconnecting with myself and my priorities and my energy. A few weeks in and we started to settle. Sunday morning meant markets, fresh fruit and veg, a good excuse to get out, meet some locals and realise that bananas are cheaper here too. Then came the Townsville show. Dust, noise, rides, and enough food to sink a ship. But more importantly, we're out in the community, actually a part of it. And that's the reset. Getting involved, not just moving postcodes. This is about as scary as it gets for us. You ready, George, for the ghost train? Townsville isn't just a reset button, it's a blank page. I've got local stories to tell, offbeat places to dig into, hidden forts to explore, disused railway lines and forgotten stories. But this isn't just history and grit. It's also the tropics, palm-fringed beaches, the Great Barrier Reef on my doorstep, and a backyard most people travel halfway across the world to see. And for the first time in years, I'm making again, not just maintaining. If you're into that weird in-between too, this channel's for you, because so am I. So stick around, because this isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning of new ones. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that video, guys. And if you've been sitting around waiting for life to change, perhaps it's time you actually got up and did something about it and started moving. And who knows, maybe I'll see you up north. But until next time, keep adventuring and keep exploring. Your next destination, it's the Deano way. I'll catch you later, guys.